What is going on, everybody? You've got myself, Rusty. You've got Doug. You've got Andrew back there. And we are bringing you a little fireside chat.
Thursday night hangs.
That's right. We're just hanging out on a rainy Thursday, and we're going to do some yapping. We've got a little list of questions over here, and we're going to talk about those questions. Just kind of what we're feeling on the format right now, what we're working on personally, and kind of some observations. Big first question. What do you want to brew with? What are you guys working on these days?
Doug? I pulled in two different directions right now.
That's beautiful.
But,
Wait, can I try and guess the directions?
Sure, yeah.
One is Minsk and Boo is a very good card.
That is a good point, yes.
The other, Minsk and Boo, is cripplingly lame.
I'll talk. We're going to return to all that in a moment, I'm sure. All three of us are going to a tournament locally here at Mavericks this weekend. So one of my goals tonight is get everybody on record. What are you playing?
Oh, okay.
What are you playing? I'm pinning you down like a butterfly in my Demented Collector's Collection. Please don't kill butterflies. I'm pinning you down. We're not Victorian anymore, but you're going to have to declare on this stream what we're playing. Because I am brewing with Gran right now, among other things. Gran is my card to brew with, and simply because she enables lessons. It's not that, but a one-drop looter is really interesting in this format. I have a blue-white grow deck that I've been trying around for a while. I haven't really had an event to throw down in.
Is that with like your Astrologians, Planispheres?
Yeah, the Planisphere. It's got Meddling Mage, Hushbringer. The idea, Russell, you said like if you land Hushbringer against certain decks, they just scoop it up.
You see their soul leave their body. They look at their deck list and they say, "I can't do that."
Yeah, the issue I ran into with my blue-white deck was that it had probably 12 cantrips in it that you could play on turn 1 and days and things like that, which was great. But the deck really started on turn 2. The curve started on 2. So you couldn't daze effectively on turn 1 because now you're not playing a Hushbringer or a Luminarch Aspirant until turn 3.
Yeah.
So my thought is if your curve starts on 1 because you've got Gran, and I used to have Shoreline Looter to just enable some draws, but Gran does it all for 1 cheaper. That you can play that, you can daze if you have to, and if you go like Gran into Luminarch Aspirant on turn 2, you put that counter on Gran, she just starts getting swole,
That's a beefed up grandma.
Yeah, she's like the Jack LaLanne of grandmas there.
Real training arc session.
Yeah, that's my thought. I'm not playing my blue-white grow deck. I will tell you now, I'm playing blue-red Delver if I play this weekend.
Okay.
I forgot that you've been doing that
with
lately.
Gran. I hate the card Delver of Secrets.
Is it in your deck?
Yes, it is.
Then you don't hate it enough.
I'll tell you this. The year of our Lord 2025, I finally bought a playset of Delver of Secrets. That's how much of a hater I am. Finally, I made it through 30 years of Magic without owning Delver of Secrets. But I'm trying that out. I think I think Dreadhorde Arcanist is an incredible card if you get to attack with it once. So that's what I'm trying. I guess the Macro archetype is seeing if Daze feels good right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a Daze hater for a long time. I think Mono Blue Spirits is the one thing that's kind of made me reconsider that. And if that deck can do it, what's to say there's not another similar deck out there that can do that? Just less spirits, more grandmas.
Yeah, I'll tell you the other thing I'm brewing on right now. I love Oko right now in the format mainly because I don't have to face Oko mirrors. You can fit 3 Okos for $10, and then the big question is what other crap you put in your deck, because you have to run garbage if you're using a third of your budget like that. But Oko can take away a game. The issue I've got is that does it look like a Bant shell where your budget's going to things like Swords to Plowshares and really awesome sideboard cards, or does it look like a Sultai deck where you're getting black cards in, you get some Duresses if you want them. Abrupt Decay is nowhere near as good as Prismatic Ending, but it's still a pretty good card. And then you get things like Oko's like LeBron on the bench, right? And then the rest of the deck, if it's the Cleveland Cavaliers setup, you have a bunch of nobodies next to him, right? And you don't get the ring that way. But if you get a bunch of good role players on the bench next to it, that's interesting. And black gives you good role players. The big one for me is Grist. I think Grist is awesome. I think Analyze the Pollen is an awesome card. Because
Really?
it lets you get grist from your deck.
Okay.
It lets you get a 1 of Uro if you have anything left to delve away after you've analyzed the pollen, after you've gone on your botany adventure.
Yeah.
And it lets you get, sorry to present company, but it lets you get a Dust Bowl against Cloud Post decks. So my thought is, like, I was playing Oko and it's awesome, but it's so hard sometimes to close the game out. When your opponent lands a Minskin Boo, like, you can contain the damage with an Oko, but you better get that thing off the table because it will eventually beat you.
That's kind of my big question, because I know we've talked about this before. You play a lot of control in the format, and I know over the course of a lot of months, you kind of came to the conclusion that you really have to be able to slam the door and close out a game.
Yeah.
You can't just drag on the game forever with a short guy and a kitchen.
Yep.
How do you think Oko fits into that? Does he slam the door?
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
But I think he is such a huge threat against a slower deck that, like, if you have, he makes everything else look better around it. Like,
Yeah.
if you've got an active Oko and you can make a 3/3, now you can really hold a Swords to Plowshares in your hand for something you really care about versus having to fire that off at something.
Right, because you're not getting chipped down by like a random 3/1 that's sitting around.
You very well can be like, hey, I turned this food token into an elk. You had to pay retail for your Gatebreaker Ram. I'm going to turn it into an elk. And now they're going to trade, and I can continue to do this every other turn. Let's see what you draw. And if you happen to outpace me, I have the Swords to Plowshares and Archmage's Charm or something to get rid of it. So I think he's awesome there. I think he's awesome against I love our 8-rack players in our format. I love them. But you play these decks where they're like, get you, you have nothing. And if the card you draw is Oko and you have 1 blue and a green out and you play that, you're probably winning the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, he does a lot on his own.
Yeah, so I've been interested in that.
How do you feel? What if you took your Oko shells and instead of Oko, it was just Minskin Boo? Does that do the same?
Now look, I've tried that and I've thought about it, right? Because I'm also looking at Comet Stellar Pup a lot.
Is Minskin Boo cheaper than Oko right now?
It's about $1 cheaper, and Minskin Boo is cheaper, but it's more expensive to play, and now you have to run 2 bad colors. It's a good card.
Yeah,
it's a good card. I will say, if I'm spending 4 mana on a threat, it's Stoic Sphinx at this point.
Interesting.
You beat me down with that.
I'm a believer in that card. Stoic Sphinx, it's for those listeners out there, it's blue 2, it's a 5/3 flyer, it has flash, wild that they did that, and as long as you don't cast a spell, it has hexproof. So it needs reminder text that says, Doug, just don't cast spells for 4 turns and you'll win the game. Yeah. Sometimes I get stupid and I'm like, well, let me just worm one in here at the end of the turn and then bad things happen. Let me put 2 out. And the opponent's like, cool.
Counterspell, Swords to Plowshares.
Kill them both. Yeah, thanks for playing, Doug.
Yeah,
didn't read the reminder text.
That card having flash is a really big deal.
Yeah, so there's fun stuff you can do. I think Stoic Sphinx feels a lot like Morphling. You slam it out and then you can just control the game. It's like if you're facing down a 5-power hexproof flyer on the other end of that, that is a hard thing to overcome.
Yeah.
You have to present a threat that makes your opponent decide to actually invest a spell on the stack.
Yeah, and I mean, I think 5 power is huge, right? Like, compare it to something like True Name Nemesis, which is a card that you would think would be good in our format, but I've never seen do anything. 7 turns to kill is just so many turns.
Yeah.
4 turns? Yeah, what's less?
Yeah, especially since you're tapping out on your turn, on turn 3, for blue.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like if you want to be a True Name deck, you have to be blue-black, which means you also want black on 2 to cast your Hymn to Torok, and then you need blue on turn 3, and so then you're wading into the unfortunate mana-base issue of playing Reveal lands, playing Creeping Tar Pit.
And then you think about it too, that like there just loses to so much. So like you tap out for your True Name on turn 3. And your opponent plays a Minskin Boo or a Caves of Chaos Adventure against you.
It's not pretty.
Like the boo goes up to a 4/4. You knock the Minsk down to 1, and then the boo goes up to a 7/7, and now you have a 3/1 racing a 7/7 that coincidentally tramples over your True Name Nemesis.
Right.
Embarrassing.
Caves of Chaos Adventure coincidentally also has trample. We love that too.
Yep.
So it turns into a 7/5.
Unforged, it will at least die to the True Name, though.
But then you're staring at each other, right? Like, okay, well, I'm going to swing with my True Name and take the initiative. Like, that's very cool. I'm capable of doing this too.
Yeah.
There's so many words in Caves of Chaos Adventure. You're like, I also got a card out of that.
Yep.
Your True Name did not draw you a card. My Caves of Chaos Adventure flipped me a Simian Spirit Guide that I may now cast. You know? The world will get worse for you by the day.
Truly beautiful.
So I monopolize the discussion on what I'm brewing, but I frequently monopolize all of our discussions of what I'm doing. So
That's great. You're who the people come here for.
yeah, Russell and Andrew, I feel like you guys are so much more disciplined on like picking 1 to 3 decks and sticking with them.
Yeah, I have really locked in on just fine tuning the decks that I have found that I like. The only deck that I'm actually actively brewing is Indomitable Creativity, because we kind of realized recently that a creativity for 2 with 2 pyroglyphs at 5 is just lethal. So it's pretty easy to set that up, if I'm being completely honest. It is really not that hard.
That beats a removal spell, right? Because
Yeah.
if you swords it, they still have like the last known information.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, Mishra's Baubles are the most expensive part of that
Huh.
deck. Pyroglyphs are pretty cheap. Creativity is pretty cheap. Prismari Command, Is It Charmed, a loot. You can play Hard Evidence for cheap. You can play, what's it called? Deduce to make another artifact token at instant speed and draw a card. So I think there's something there with that deck, and I'm really interested to see how it goes, because you can kind of skew in towards self-mill, you can skew in towards hard control, you can splash a 3rd color for reanimation spells, or you can splash a 3rd color for Oath of Druids once that comes back down. I will say, if Oath of Druids was cheaper, I do think it is better than Creativity for just plopping multiple pyroglyphs in play.
But you still only get 1 a turn off oath, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
per-
not as
per
much of
oath,
like a
per- one
combo
per oath.
kill. Yeah.
But yeah, the just the cleanliness of Creativity for 2, get 2 pyroglyphs, dome you for 20 is really nice, because other than Creativity, nothing in that deck, in that package, is bad. I mean, just casting a pyroglyph is just
it's
a
fine.
good card.
Even if it's only got 3 power at the time, like that's
Yeah.
a pretty beefy guy.
Yep.
I actually don't mind that, because you're just kind of blue-red control, and you have, was it 5 mana to creativity for
Yep.
2?
It is 5 mana at sorcery speed, which can be an issue.
We're tapping our Dwarven Ruins.
Yeah.
We're sacrificing those for red.
Now, the important question that I know everyone in the audience wants to know, would you say this deck is like Splinter Twin?
We almost had Splinter Twin for a while. I had a list put together and proxied in paper because we were about to have Splinter Twin,
Yeah.
and then we
The mo-
didn't.
I'm glad that the modern people got Splinter Twin.
Yeah, congrats. You
We
got
got-
it back.
We got Ponder. We got
Yeah.
Ponder.
That's a
$4
great deal for
set.
us.
Yeah.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, that's a lunch pail 9 to 5 card. That card shows up.
That's a hard worker, yeah.
Yeah.
Ponder wakes up every morning, puts on its boots, laces them up, and heads out the door.
I think in a vacuum I would prefer to play Twin over Creativity.
I gotta tell you, I played Twin for a couple of years in Modern. I could do so well at going X and 2 at FNM, because there would be 1 or 2 Jund players, or there'd be a person playing like black-white. And you'd be like, oh, well, I have a deck that's just full of 20 cards that beat you. Or the Jund player would be like, I was designing a laboratory to have Abrupt Decay up at all times.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
But I gotta be honest, I don't mind that idea. I think blue-red is not the strongest control colors, because red is not that good at interacting. You get bolts, I guess.
Bolt misses a shocking amount of permanence.
Yeah. Yeah, it really misses a lot. I miss Scred. I wish we had the architecture for Scred, Because I played a lot of Blue Red Scred and Popper.
I gotta tell you that too, as a snow enjoyer with Oko, I feel like I've got a teamer list on the shelf. If I can get off of Swords to Plowshares and just integrate into Red, I get Dwarven Miner and Ancient Grudge off the board. I get it all, folks.
Man, I had a terrible thought about Ancient Grudge the other day. I was considering it as a sideboard card for Hogak.
Just to mill over.
You just mill it, and that's a natural.
I'll tell you, my stumbling block for Ancient Grudge right now is that it cannot kill an artifact land. We are swimming with those locally.
Sure.
Because the Boom Bust Bridge decks, they're good. They're good decks. So you can go turn 2 Cleansing Wild, or boom your land, not mine. Or they can Cleansing Wildfire into a Minsc and Boo on turn 3. And if not, it's not fun to be on the other end of.
Aren't there are a couple 1 mana or 2 mana instant speed exile and artifact spells?
There are, and that's why I had a Teamer Delver deck where the main gimmick was pick your poison main deck. So the miracle would Yavimaya Coast turn 1, pick your poison, sacrifice an artifact. Turn 2, play this Dreadboard. Maybe we're doing it again.
That's what Crack the Earth wanted to be, Russell.
Yeah. Oh my god, Crack the Earth. I wish that card worked.
But I don't think the mana's there for our listeners to know that you can. I don't think you can effectively find 7 pieces of green mana to fit in that deck and cast the rest of the spells.
No,
and
not in a Dazed deck.
I think playing a deck where your green spells are Pick Your Poison and Clothis, and that possibly Minsc and Boo main deck is not a good reason to run green.
Yeah, that's tough.
But if I can pull Scred off the shelf into a Teamer deck with Oko, we're gonna be a tyrant.
Yeah, I think we're never gonna see Scred. We would need $0 Snowlands.
Yeah, free Snowlands, free Scred.
Yeah, Scred itself is a couple bucks.
It is.
Circling back to the artifact lands, didn't you say recently you can March of Otherworldly Light?
You can. Yes.
A bridge?
Yes, you can pay 1 white mana because March exiles an artifact.
Okay, yeah.
That's
There
nasty.
you go.
Yeah, so obviously I went through the entire Gatherer search or Scryfall search. I'm like, what will
For
exile
exile
an
artifact.
Yeah.
Nice.
March and Pick Your Poison will make somebody sacrifice it, but that's it.
Yeah.
I had a dream of Gorilla Shamaning away somebody's board, but Gorilla Shaman will not do it. Karn, the Toymaker, will do it.
What?
Titania's Song. Don't look these up. They're bad cards.
Not going to. Yikes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I've not been doing a ton of brewing lately, but there's 2 decks that I kind of have 2 decks I want to refine, and a couple that are like in the back of my mind where I haven't quite gotten to the point where I really want to work on them, but they're kind of calling to me a little bit. I want to put some more love onto Martyr Proc, because no one's been playing that deck in a long time. I think it's a lot of fun, and lately I picked this up from, I think it was Servo and Dude. They've been really liking Starfield Shepherd, which is that warp card that can get a 1-drop. It's 1 and a white to warp, and you get to tutor a 1-drop from your deck, and then it's a 5 mana 3/3 flyer that does it again.
Also gets planes.
Oh yeah, it gets planes as well. Yeah, so I'm toying with converting some number of like the commies and other 1-drops into some number of those. Because if you go down a commie and then you put 2 Starfield Shepherds in, it's kind of like you have 5 commies. And then you get to play kind of some weird 1-drops. I've been trying to figure out how to make the combo matchup not rancid for Martyr. And right now my working technology is Hope of Girapur, which are $1.50. So you get one of the main...
Hope indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. I'm not saying it's good, but we're trying here.
Yeah, especially if you're planning to Starfield for it. Starfield on 2, cast Hope on 3.
Oh man, you're making it sound really bad.
I mean, that's also kind of the issue that I have with Starfield in general, with that in that deck specifically, is that your plan of play a Champion of the Parish or play the thing that makes angels that I can never remember the name of.
Speaker.
Yeah, play
Angel
Speaker
Summoner.
into Martyr. Like, it slows down the Speaker line, and if you're Speakering for one of those pieces, especially if it's, or if you're shepherding for one of those pieces, especially if it's the Speaker, then you're again looking at turn 4. So I do think it is a great piece for the deck to find the commies specifically.
Yeah.
That part is really good. Or find a Martyr specifically. You play Speaker on 1, you Shepherd on 2, you Martyr on 3.
That's fine.
That's definitely not bad. But it does change the velocity a lot when you're relying on that card.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. And I'm also moving away from. I was playing 3 Guide of Souls for $10, and now that money's. Oh, I've been testing Skull Clamp in there as well. So the Guide of Souls has moved away. But the tough thing there is that Guide of Souls really helps your beatdown plan, like you're talking about. Because like the champ into champ Guide of Souls, or some combination of that, get some benevolent bodyguards in there, and you start attacking for 5 and 5 pretty quick.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just an important part of the deck. It's not the main thing you want to do, but there are some opponents that you just have to get dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. One card I'm actually really excited for is it's an avatar card. It's called Curious Farm Animals.
Oh yeah, the 5 creature type.
It's
5 card type. You can embiggen that thing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of horses in a pile.
Yeah, I had that on my list of stuff that I wanted to buy from Avatar. Also, it's a really interesting card.
It's cool. I mean,
It's neat.
single white for a 1/1. When it dies, you gain 3 life and 2 mana. Sack it to naturalize. Obviously, it's good with a Biting Grace. It's a pretty good roadblock for burn or something similar. Against burn, it can catch an Eidolon or a Sulfuric Vortex.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, because Sulfuric Vortex is scary. People always think that the Martyr versus Burn matchup is very Martyr favored, but it's like, brother, Burn is the only deck that plays Skullcrack and Sulfuric Vortex. It is not as Martyr favored as some would think.
Like you go into a crack a Martyr on turn 2 and they show you the skull crack.
Yeah, it is. A lot of the times that matchup can just be pointing loaded guns at each other.
They mulligan to 5 and you're like, oh no. They've got it.
Yeah.
I think Martyr has 3 great things going for it right now. Nobody's playing Graveyard Hate.
Yeah, Graveyard Hate seems like on a downswing.
Yeah, nobody's playing Sweepers.
Nope.
Yeah.
And at least locally, nobody's playing Combo. You're not going to get high-tided out.
At a local.
Yeah, and even at a 1K, I mean, I don't know, maybe you shrug the loss off and just figure that a high-tide deck is going to lose to other stuff.
Yeah, I will say, as good as High Tide is, it is not represented, I think, proportionally to how good it is in 1Ks. Maybe that's a question we should add, like, what decks do you expect to see at 1Ks? Because we see a ton of Rhinos. We see actually a ton of Cloud Post, more green than blue, but both. But we do not see as much High Tide as you might think. And I think it has a reputation for being complicated. I'll be honest, anyone can learn how to play High Tide.
Yeah, it's not hard.
It's not that bad. You can become a proficient High Tide player in 2 hours at your desk.
We never really saw it a whole lot in Legacy either. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, is that perennial question? Like, is it because the deck's not good enough? Or is it because it's a good enough deck that people just don't want to play? Because it's not a fun day of Magic to play.
You do have to be a little bit of a sicko. I mean, I would say I would rather High Tide than Crashing Footfalls. But that's a personal preference.
I don't know. I think that the Rhinos deck's probably the best deck to take to a 1K.
I think it's very good. That's a whole conversation too.
That might. I think that one.
It's for another day.
We should cycle back to,
Yeah.
because that I think is definitely a full conversation.
That could be the whole episode. I'll yap more about what I'm up to. I want to work on Hogak more. Hogak Roots specifically. You can miss me with that mono black no roots Hogak stuff. Maybe it's better, but it doesn't speak to me. I do think the Roots is actually a pretty important plan of like the long game. But I've never been happy with my 75, and as far as I know, Hogak's never been in the top 8 of a large event. So someone's got to give the GAC some love, and unfortunately I think it has to be me.
I do think it has the potential to be I would never be surprised to see a Hogak in the top 8.
Hogak seems so hard to brew and stay current on because you've got to do 2 things. You've got to keep an eye on old cards like Vengevine and Gravecrawler. And then you've got to look through the new sets for just the worst draft chaff cards.
Yeah.
That incidentally do something silly with your Insidious Roots.
I will say getting Bloodghast in like timeline colors has made me a bigger fan of the mono black version than I would have ever expected. I do agree with the Roots comment that that is how you grind, that is how you take over a game outside of a blazing fast unanswered Hogak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's kind of my thought, right? Like, when you stick a turn 2 Hogak and it gets to attack your opponent, you win the game. But there's a lot of swords running around. There's a lot of ways to deal with a Hogak. And the Bloodghast backup plan has never looked super good to me, whereas the Roots backup plan sometimes looks really good to me. I am interested in trying maybe a mono black or mostly black version where you like max out on Bloodghasts, I think Umbral Caller Zealot is really interesting with like a giant pile of blood gas. That's pretty cool. I'm even considering dipping my toes into trying Scourge of Neltoth, which is like the most off-brand Hogak of all time. That's how down bad I'm getting. The big thing, and I think this is what I might play Saturday if I can get them, because I don't think my Martyr cards will be here in time. I want to try a couple of copies of 3-mana Grist in Hogak. Big thing is I just want to cast that card, but I think it could be good as like a sticky, continuing advantage thing. Because the way I play the deck, it's simultaneously like has bad mana and is prone to flood, but also like gets screwed on the mana. It's very weird. So I think upping the curve a little bit from being like all 1-drops in Hogak might be good. We'll see. There's some room to play around, but currently I'm thinking I'll probably play Hogak in the next 1K at SCG Sensi.
Let's go.
Look, someone's got to do it, and I think it's got to be me.
It at least turns into a fun day of Magic.
That's true.
I would probably have a good time gacking.
I could be convinced to play something that's a little bit more on the fun scale than the good scale at that one, to be honest.
Let's be honest. You're going to play Blue Post, and you're going to top 8.
Well, see, the thing is I'm going to play Blue Post at either Atlanta or Cincinnati.
Sure.
So
okay.
I since I'm going to Atlanta, and I know you're not.
I just forget, yeah.
I will play it at one of those two. The issue is that I don't know which one. I don't know if there is a distinction, but I do think the hometown event I'm more willing to have fun at.
That's true. Yeah, that's good manners. So yeah, those are the main things I'm working on tuning. In the back of my mind, I kind of want to dip my toes into the Blue Post stuff a little bit. It's been interesting to me. And this is kind of just a bastardization of it. I'm thinking about Fires of Invention again. It's bad.
No.
Okay, hear me out.
Stop it.
Fires of Invention, Retrofitter Foundry, Scour for Scrap, 1 Trading Post, Mindslaver.
But why do you need
I feel
fires?
like there's an extra card in there.
Well, because the Fires you can play Fires on 4, and then you get to 6 mana,
You scour.
and then you Scour, play Mindslaver, crack it in the same turn. And you can use your lands for Retrofitter, Trading Post, Mindslaver things. And I also think that Retrofitter is just a big upgrade for Fires. I think they go really well together because you're always like, what can I spend this mana on? Doug, imagine if you could cast whatever spells you want and also all your lands are Retrofittering.
And all of my mana is perfect. And I can run a 5-color deck, honestly.
So what is our game plan to not cast a Fires and then immediately lose to combo because we can't cast spells on their turn?
There's
We
no
cycle-
combo.
we
There's
cycle-
no combo, my friend.
Yeah, we said we put 4 Nimble Obstructionists in the sideboard. What are you talking about?
You slaughter games before you play the Fires of Invention.
No, you do it after.
It's elementary.
Fires, Slaughter Game.
You could do 2. You could do 2.
Yeah, so I don't see a problem here.
Oh, Lord.
So that's where my head is at. I'll probably play some Hogak. But, so what are you guys scared of in Magic right now? I feel like we've kind of alluded to what we're worried about, but what do you have like a bullseye on, or what are you hoping to dodge in the rounds?
I'll take this. I'll field this one first this time. I think my biggest please dear God dodge this is the couple of inefficient hyper combo decks.
Yeah.
So we, as part of the format, it is an unfortunate truth that stuff like Hypergenesis, Oops All Spells, Channel Mirror, they exist.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just have it. Like it is a very real possibility to just, they take turn 1 on the play, double Spirit Guide out a Cascade spell, and then win on the spot. It sucks. It's not super enjoyable Magic, but that is something that you really do have to at least acknowledge exists. I personally don't think I would want to bring any of those decks to a major event right now. I don't think especially the 3 that I listed, I personally don't want to play 8, 9, 10 rounds of Magic with them. I don't think they're super fun. But I also think the variance on them is big enough that I wouldn't feel comfortable saying I'm going to win with this deck.
That's part of it too, right? Like, I don't think they're super well positioned in a broad sense.
Yeah.
So when you get sniped by it in round 2, and then you see them go like 2-5 on the day, you're like, come on.
Yeah. Or they draw super hot and you get sniped by them in round 1, and then you see them in the top 8 because they drew super well, and then they finally hit their bad variance and then flame out against a very favorable matchup in the first round of the top 8.
Yeah, that's part of why I hate leaving my house without a playset of spell pierces.
That's kind of the thing, is like, I was thinking about this, and being just a little bit responsible saves you so much grief against these decks. Like, a single spell pierce beats pretty much all 3 of those decks. It beats a lot of the really fast or aggressive combo decks. But then also you're kind of in the push-shove of, well, what if I just let other people be a little bit responsible, and hopefully they run into a spell pierce deck in the first round and I don't have to see them.
You know the infomercial for Flex Seal where that guy like slaps the tape on the leaking tank? That's like me, but the tape is like a playset of Inquisitions or spell pierces.
Yep.
Because sometimes that's all you need to get there.
Yep. I've said this a lot, that a couple a playset of discard spells or like a playset of loose focuses ties together so many silly deck list ideas.
Yeah, that's the Hidetsugu and Kyrie guy talking.
Yeah, you just play. I mean, that's kind of going back to the creativity conversation that we had earlier. Is you slap some counter spells in that deck, and you have a pretty viable plan to win, or you at least have a concise plan to win.
Yeah. Andrew, I echo your sentiments. I was going to say these Spirit Guide decks are always rough to sit down against. I find sometimes the play patterns are like, well, turn 1 they suspend a Crashing Footfalls, and then turn 2 they cascade into a Crashing Footfalls, and maybe you deal with it. And turn 3 they play Eulalia. Maybe you have the Swords to Plowshares and you have a Lightning Bolt. Like, turn 5 that Crashing Footfalls is coming down again. Do you have something to deal with 2 Rhinos here? And they can. That's like the most fair version of the Spirit Guide decks.
Yeah.
Luckily, the cost of the Spirit Guides are high enough that it cannibalizes into some of the more egregious stuff like Minsk and Boo.
Yeah. Now that we're looking at $6 to $8 for a playset of the Spirit Guides, it is really pushing your budget.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fiery Islet's high.
That's a big one too.
What happened to Fiery Islet? Who did that?
I would assume it is either Pioneer or Standard.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in. It isn't Standard, right?
It'll come back down again eventually.
Yeah, it'll come home
The
to us.
other thing I think is that there are decks that you don't see on the high tables in the later rounds that can still really, really get you, like Enchantress. I love you, Thane. I love our Enchantress players. Right? Thane's not playing Enchantress these days. He'd be laughing right alongside me. But decks like that, where, I mean, what's the Mississippi River deck? Like, I refuse to play against that or understand how it works. It just plays spiders, and it just plays a bunch of Cascade stuff.
Yeah,
I get that, right?
Get to enough mana that you can cascade into the rest of your deck.
And it's a deck where I look at it, it's like, oh, I don't have Depopulate on my sideboard. I guess I lose against you.
Yeah.
And those are decks that you like they're not going to win the tournament. Sometimes they do. They're not going to win the tournament, but they are there for you in the first 3 rounds to just ruin your day.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you're playing a deck with Spell Pierce, and they're like, oh, I got the 7 mana. I'm going to cast a spider to do stuff. And I'm just doing things here, man. It's crazy. I'm making so many game objects. I'm interacting on the stack. How's your Spell Pierce looking right now? So those are the kinds. I fear those kinds of things. As soon as I can make it through round 3 or round 4 in an event, I feel like I'm good, because the decks that I'm playing against are the ones that are like that you will die to a Spell Pierce.
Yeah. Yeah. For Rhinos specifically, I feel like that deck is at least more interactable than a lot of the other Cascade decks. Just because stuff like Echo and Truth, Ratchet Bomb can go in every single deck.
Yeah.
Engineered Explosives is cheap now and can go in every single deck.
Well, we saw this. It was SCG Charlotte where there was a lot of Rhinos, and then after that we played in, was it Columbus or Indy was after that? And I remember we all prepared for Rhinos. We were all packing Ratchet Bombs, Commandeers, and stuff like that. And I remember Rhinos really got pushed out. And
I do think there was a significantly lower representation of Rhinos at that tournament too.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where it's a really natural deck for people to pick up because it's good and it's like a known quantity. And I think that it really can catch you with your pants down, but if you have it in mind, I think it's pretty easy to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do think that as we see the format kind of like hit a burst and get it like a little bit more into the zeitgeist and the limelight, I think we're going to see a lot of people pick it up, and we're going to need people to be responsible to not have triple rhinos top 8s.
I do agree. I definitely agree that people need to be just a tiny bit responsible, but that also comes with format knowledge.
Yeah.
This is a really quickly growing format. We're getting a lot of new players in at all times.
Yeah.
And so when this format was a little bit younger, we got a lot, and we were starting to grow it for the first time. We got a lot of people saying, "Hey, why is this card in every single sideboard?" And now we're getting a lot of people, significantly more amount of people into the Discord. But I feel like that conversation has actually tailed off a fair amount from what I've seen. Because originally it was like, oh, why are we all playing Soul Guide Lantern everywhere? Like, I understand it, but like, why not play this, or why not play Leyline? And then it was, why is Fade from History in every single sideboard? Which that's another card that I think we've fallen off the usage of, and I don't necessarily disagree, but I do think that card is still really good.
It's like 80 cents right now. That's pretty.
That is true. That is true. I kind of forgot that it had gone up.
I don't see very much like aggro affinity anymore, and I feel like Thopter Sword has not been super popular either.
Yeah. That's fair.
If I'm getting Thopter Sword these days, it's in a Cloud Post deck, and the Thopter Sword is not the biggest problem. Which kind of goes into the next point. There are two things I don't want to see when I sit down and play. These are the things that really make me, like, the hope drains out of my eyes. Turn 1 Island Sleight of Hand. That's a High Tide player.
Yeah.
Don't want that. The other one, this one almost is worse because I see it more, and I used to be this guy. Turn 1, tap Cloud Post, go.
Both of you guys you're fearing the long game. My fear is Forest Glistener Elf go.
I love it.
Right, we're just gonna draw 3 cards this game, and that's it. We're gonna see who wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been kind of getting out slimed by Cloud Post lately. I feel like I play decks that generally want to go like a little longer than average, and then Cloud Post decks kind of go like one step chunkier than me.
Yeah.
And I used to be on the giving end because I played a lot of Green Post, but now I've been dying to Green Post decks and a lot of Blue Post. Sailor's Bane does not want to see it. Martyr does not want to see it at all.
Yeah, I think, obviously I'm a little bit biased as probably the person who started the Blue Post revolution for this format, arguably.
I would say yeah.
I do think we have skewed towards Blue Post a little bit more than Green Post lately, at least results-wise, I've seen that. And I do think it is a very, very good deck. And if I'm not playing Blue Post myself, I don't want to see that deck across from me.
Yeah. Well, because I think the things that were good about Green Post were the life buffering, the trench posting, and most of all, the O-stoning.
Yep.
And then you're just like, I'm going to die to unfair stuff. And by putting blue cards in your deck, you're just like, I'm not going to do that.
I'm going to have a good combo matchup and a good late game.
It's terrifying. I wipe so many boards with O-Stone, and now when I get an Abiding Grace blown up by one, I get physically ill.
And now you can blow up that Abiding Grace with your O-Stone and then put it back on top of your deck with an Academy Runes. Isn't it great?
I was thinking about how to tech Martyr for a Blue Post, and I was like, okay, so first, we put down a Pithing Needle on O-Stone. And I was like, Ratchet Bomb. And I was like, okay, so we got a Pithing Needle, the Ratchet Bomb, and the O-Stone. Then we also need a Benevolent Bodyguard to protect from repeal. And I was thinking about like
another one on Blaststone and
I was thinking about like meddling mages and stuff, but I was like, I just feel like it's so sneaky and you're always gonna weasel around me.
Yeah.
Then it's like, so do I just kill you quicker? Well, that's hard too.
Well, I've been looking at Stony Silence. It's about 60 to 70 cents.
Yeah.
Now. It's not going to win the game, but here's the thing. If it then becomes a game that revolves around, can you get my Stony Silence off the board?
Yeah.
Which for a Blue Post deck is simply repeal or blast zone. And that's it. And if I've got any other threat that's pressuring you, or I'm building my board presence, and you're working your game state to how do I get this repeal to resolve end step, and I'm like, I am good. I am dirty dancing right here. I got my guys in the attacking.
Stoic Sphinx.
Then it's a much better game once you have. And I think making the understanding that we are not always going to get to play Light of Day against mono black decks. We're not always going to get to play Slam Circle of Protection blue against Merfolk and just shut the door on these decks. But Stony Silence is like 80% of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I've been looking at that a lot. I've been looking at like we're going to analyze the Poland Pollen for Collector Oof one of these days. Things like that. Or Harbinger of the Tides. If you're analyzing the Pollen, you got to go to Harbinger instead. It's a better card. Or what? Harbinger of the Seas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Harbinger of the Seas.
Yeah.
I do like that card is cheap. I'm a big fan of Blood Moon effects just being accessible.
Yeah. I know what you mean though, Russell. And there's a feeling that when you see the tapped Cloud Poster and you're like, all right, I will get trench posted to death here. Because this it's a chubby deck, right? Like you can do a lot, and they can be like, cool, I'll counter one of your spells, I'll replay your guy, I've got O-Stone online. We're going to blow up the world here eventually, I can find an Academy Ruins, or otherwise I'm just going to tap a bunch of trench posts and you're going to die.
Yeah.
I don't need a Dark Depths. I find this Academy Ruins and we go wild.
I promise you do not need a Dark Depths in your blue post deck.
It makes me so sad.
You don't.
Yeah,
it makes me so
board,
sad.
And there's so much stuff that you think is going to do, and you're like, here's a Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace will not do it because they will O-Stone it away.
Yeah.
And if you can disrupt or blow up the Academy Ruins O-Stone recursion, you can really sideline that deck.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the cards that are good there are not great against other decks.
Yeah, I think I need to get some more Damping Spheres in my sideboards.
And Damping Sphere is another card where they can look at that and they can pay retail for an O-Stone. They can get to 3 lands and they can look at your Damping Sphere and be like, I will eventually draw land number 5. That's the same problem with Harbinger of the Seas.
Yep.
Harbinger of the Seas.
Every-
Eventually they will hit 5 mana and they'll just stone it away.
The biggest thing to remember with any hate piece for any deck that you want to use is that the hate piece needs to be followed up with a clock. You need to make them respond to the hate piece or beat them before it. Because, if you're just spending your turn 2 to play a Damping Sphere and I'm untapping, playing an untapped land and casting an O-Stone just for 3 mana,
And I will never deceive you into thinking that Collector Roof is a clock on its own, but is a 2/2 for 2 that makes an opponent stumble. It has that Thalia effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the structure of the deck where around what you've been doing you might have had creatures that were attacking, you might have had built up card advantage, you might have made me respond to other spells and stuff, and then you drop the Collector Roof and then you turn the corner.
Yeah. So we talked about what we are going to play on Saturday. Are those the decks you guys would play in a big tournament right now? Or, Doug, you've been working on this Miracle Grow. Is it ready for a 1K?
It could be. It could potentially. I want to test and see whether a Days Grand Shell feels like enough. Like Days Grand Ponder and Portent or Preordain or Sleight of Hand, whatever you want to put in there, back with counter spells and some efficient guys. If the proof of concept is there, I want to be casting Hushbringers. That's the card to play right there. Astrologian's Planisphere can get substantially big. Grand pumps it because she can draw a card. So Grand plus you draw stuff plus a Preordain is going to make that Planisphere even bigger if that matters.
It's not bad.
I've got to tell you, I have run into issues recently playing my ponderous, slow, annoying Oko decks where, Oko in a row, I decked out in a game last tournament I was playing.
Embarrassing.
I fight out 4 static prisons.
Yep.
And then I decked out with 35 minutes on the clock burn. Or 40. So, you sit down and you play game 2 and you've got 8 minutes and it's will this Stoic Sphinx get there? And it didn't get there in time.
Yeah.
So I am trying to be so disciplined because I would love to tap a snow-covered island and put an Arkham's Astrolabe into play and play an Oko this weekend. I would love to do that. That doesn't get me my testing on the Days Grand thing, and I just can't stand drawing these days, and I feel like I'm playing decks that are prone to drawing out, not only like drawing the game, but like literally drawing your deck because every card in your deck says draw a card and you get greedy, right?
Yeah, I'm a pretty sludgy deck player, but you consistently out-sludge me in our matches.
Yeah, I will tell you, I will be so excited when Pendelhaven gets another reprint, so I can make my Ice Fang Quaddles into a 2/3, and then I can double my clock. That's the goal.
Doug, normal people use Pendelhaven on Glistener Elf. You're out here with Granger Guildmage.
The Ice Fang blocks the Glistener Elf, Russell. It's simple mathematics here.
3D checkers.
In the but in a 1K, I would probably feel more comfortable bringing in like a Bant Oko deck.
Okay.
I can understand a lot. The threat analysis that goes on, I'm very comfortable with. I understand the information coming in and how to deal with it. It's just there are these soupy decks that people can if they win or they've got you in a winning position and it's 30 minutes in, it's very hard to put away 2 games to win. And I remember PVDDR had said in an article, like, most people don't scoop early enough in a match, especially when playing control.
Yeah.
And there are games sometimes where you have it all put away and they draw the Minsk and boom, and now you're back to square one. So I think with better, tighter play and a little bit faster deck, I would play a Bant Oko deck in a 1K, but I think I gotta play Delver this weekend.
Sure. What's wrong with Thopter Sword these days? It used to be such a big like stock Thopter Sword guy.
Yeah, I think that the hard part is that neither parts of the Sword of the Meek Thopter Foundry combo do anything by themselves.
Truly terrible cards.
And they're great pitching to a Thirst for Knowledge. They're great tapping a Retrofitter Foundry to make a servo and get your sword back. That feels great. Counter spells are real slow and bad right now.
I don't know if I agree with that.
In a reactive deck. In a reactive deck like that, I found also that I could get gassed out pretty easily. Muddle the Mixture is $6 or $7 for a set, so you can't do the thing where you just muddle up the missing piece.
Sure.
I've had a lot of success with Thopter Sword. I think it's been very good. I think it has a way of getting around a lot of just the random stuff you see in the first 3 rounds of a tournament.
Yeah.
But when you read Oko is really both halves of Thopter Foundry in one card. Like Minsk and Boo for that matter as well. I know I keep mentioning these 2 cards, but I think that they're just very, very good cards. I mean, you play your Thopter Foundry and your opponent plays Grist, and you're like, man, once my dad gets here, you're gonna die, right? You're gonna lose. And if your dad never shows up, Grist kills you. I think that we have gotten to a point where we have threats that are good enough on their own that stringing those 2 together doesn't put it over the line anymore. And we get informed on this from Modern, because in the Modern Snow era, the decks that were running Astrolabe at the beginning and running Whir of Invention and things like that, and especially there was a period when you could play Urza and Oko in the same deck, but people realized the Thopter Foundry isn't what gets there. Playing an Urza and making a Karnstruct and spinning Urza once or twice is what gets there. So they all abandoned the Thopter Foundry combo because you just get Urzas, both of those cards in one.
Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe things will swing back around to where it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Until then, it had a good run. I mean, it's still definitely viable. Like, I would never be surprised to see it.
I think it can put away games pretty easily.
Yeah.
So for this weekend, I'm either playing Jund or Living End. Those are 2 decks that I want a lot more kind of full competitive testing with.
Yeah.
I've played the decks a lot. I've had them for a while. I'm pretty happy with the list that I have together. But I don't know if I'm willing to take either of them to a major tournament right now. That's kind of what I want to figure out right now. Because kind of going back to I'm going to Atlanta where there's a 1K. SCG Cincinnati, there's a 1K. There's Richmond a little bit after that.
Yeah.
So there are major events coming up, and I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to seeing if I could take either of those decks, but I don't think they're on the list right now. I think I'm pretty hard locked into Blue Post as my major tournament deck list of choice.
I mean, that makes sense because you have a pretty strong background as a Blue Tron player for Modern, right?
Yeah,
like,
I played Bluetron and Modern for a very long time.
I didn't know that about you. I did too.
I'm on camera time stopping an Emrakul from one of our locals from, I mean, probably
Top
2015, 2016. So yeah, I love the big mana blue deck. I have a lot of experience with it. I am really, really comfortable with it. So that is the far and away leading candidate for what I would take if I want to truly try to win. I would be willing to play. Is it Phoenix? Arclight Phoenixes?
Yeah, you've done pretty good with that, and it's back in budget pretty comfortably, right?
Yeah, you can now get the core of the deck with either multiple Manamorphoses or multiple Cori Steel Cutters, depending on which swerve or which part you want to focus your budget on.
Yeah, Steel Cutter. What a
and that's
card.
even with a Gataxian Probe in the deck too. So it is. Prices have come down a lot on that deck. I think despite that, my issues with the deck remain the same, where like you need to be proactive. You need to be filling your graveyard, you need to be putting Phoenixes in play and turning them sideways, but that uses your mana, which is the issue. So then you're just leaving yourself open to losing to the High Tides of the world, losing to random other combo decks. You need to find ways to not lose to Living End, swarming the board, or Affinity going bigger. So that's another one that I really I do need to get some testing in with that too, but at sight unseen I would be willing to play that more so than Living End or Jund. And then if I want to have fun, going back to do I want to just have a good time at SCG Cincinnati, I would play Primal Prayers. I am pretty confident with that deck. I know the lines pretty well, and I have a lot of fun with it.
I mean, you've been close to a couple top 8s with it, right? Missed two different win-ins now?
Yeah.
One of them was to an aggressive mono green deck, I believe.
If you were to show me any single matchup in the history of matchups, I would have picked that one, and I lost a win-in to that deck.
Little aspect of a Hydra mono green beatdown.
Yeah, one game I won, one game I got run over, and then the next game I just drew so poorly. I don't think I've ever drawn as poorly.
The good guys really got that one.
Yeah. That is a deck that I do love seeing get into a top 8. That is a really, really cool deck. I just wish it wasn't over My Bloody Corpse.
Yeah, someone's got to get stepped on to get mono green into the top 8.
Yeah.
I think if I really wanted to win, I don't know if I would play Sailor's Bane right now, honestly.
Really?
It's the deck I've played the most. It's kind of like you with Blue Post. Like, it really feels like home to me. I've got, I think, I think I went undefeated in 2 different 1K Swisses with it. Like, I've played it a lot. It's always felt really good. I don't like it into Cloud Post very much. You can theoretically beat them down, but it just always feels tough.
Yeah.
Especially because like so many of your counter spells, like Lose Focus and Spell Pierce, are conditional. So they just start paying for your Lose Focuses.
Yeah.
And you're like, this feels terrible.
I think the funniest Bane versus Blue Post thing that I've done, I think it might have been against Caleb, but I don't remember. I put a Blast Zone all the way up to 7 and cracked it.
You're going to repeal your Sailor's Bane and pay the war.
I've done that too. Sometimes you just have 30 mana.
It's a moral injury at that point, yeah.
Dude, there was one time, this is a total tangent, but I was playing Blue-White Control in Modern after War of the Spark, right when 3 Fairy had come out. I was playing at an IQ, or those things. Mm-hmm. I was playing at an IQ with Corey and Will down, I don't know, somewhere far away. And I was playing against this, red Ritual Prison deck. And I had the game, pretty well locked up. It was, turn 17 or whatever, right? I'm doing my thing. He's got, 7 lands in play. He casts, a Desperate Ritual, and I'm like, I'm going to let that go. He casts another Desperate Ritual. And then he casts a, red Acroma. And I'm sitting here with my dumbass control deck. And And this is
Oh
like it was like a
my God.
snap cryptic, whatever deck, but the Chroma just doesn't care about what I'm up to.
Can't be countered pro blue, right?
Yeah, so I have to string together, and maybe I cut my sword or my removal spells. I don't know, but I had no answers to it. But for some reason, there was a Blast Zone in my deck, which seems weird now that I'm talking about it. But I had to chain together like Snap, Cryptic, Tap You Down to get a Blast Zone up to whatever unholy mana cost it
I think
is.
it's 8.
It was,
That seems low.
it was stressful in like
Oh, that's great.
in like the 2-3 bracket row. It was wild. But I feel really comfortable on Bane. I feel like it catches a lot of like the dumb donkey decks we talked about earlier. Like the fragile combo stuff. I feel really comfy there. I feel comfy against like my like mid-rangey fair decks. Like when my opponent reveals Companion Luris, I'm like easy.
Yeah.
But some of this big mana stuff gets me. Some of like, where did Boros Energy go?
I was just thinking about that when you mentioned Luris, and I was thinking about how that deck, I think that deck is still such a threat.
Yeah, it showed up in force at Columbus, right?
The ability for it to, it can be on a totally empty board, and it can draw like Unstable Amulet, flip a Nurturing Pixie, pick up the Amulet, cast the Amulet. Like, here's a Guide of Souls. Like, things are gonna get out of hand very quickly.
This is gonna be a controversial statement. I think that deck was super overrated at all points of its lifespan, including now.
Dude, I'm a hater, but I don't think
It is very powerful. It has very powerful cards, but the issue is that it's such a synergistic deck that if you see things in a wrong order, you just don't do anything.
I don't know. I think that card quality is so high, and everything is like so interchangeable. Like Pixie doesn't care if it's picking up a Raptor or a Amulet. I think everything just works. Raptor doesn't care if it hits a Brotherhood Scribe or a Guide of Souls. You're still making money.
I mean, that's true, but then also you have the issue that it doesn't really beat combo without completely ruining its own game plan. Like, sure, you can play Deafening Silence, congratulations. Like, you now can't do a lot of the things that make that deck super strong.
Doug, didn't we watch Cole kick Heidel's teeth in when he was on Mirror in the
Yes,
top eight?
we watched Heidel draw so poorly. Yes.
Yeah, that was
the thing.
Well,
it was not a red white energy win.
Well,
it was a mirror loss.
I'm a Duke defender here.
No hate to Duke.
He had the side.
He played it very well. He played it correctly. I do not want to diminish what he did with that, but I do remember that game being more so a mirror loss than a red-white win.
Doug, did you have thoughts?
I still think red-white energy is a very potent deck to be bringing to places, but
it is very much a strong deck.
That is a deck that, like, if people played Thrun the last roll, the red-white energy can never beat a 4/4 with Shroud. I'll tell you that. Their best card is Static Prison.
That card is good.
That card makes me reach for my Ray of Revelation. Let's board this thing and specifically beat this one card that invalidates the best thing you could be doing at any time. And the fact that they can just be like, oh, I amuleted into it, and the fact that when they have 3 amulets out, everything they do is a lightning bolt. All of that's good. They can't. I don't think that deck can tangle with like a Call of the Herd Elephant token. Like, they have a very hard time against...
I think they go around it too much.
I have found that, and I will say this from a person who's made a lot of 6/6 Astrologians Planispheres in the last few weeks and months. They cannot beat that card. If it gets to be meaningful at all, then the game revolves into, can they draw the Static Prison and get it through your counterspell? But otherwise, I mean, that's a deck that can do what Cole had done against Heidel, which was like, I'm going to bring in 10 pieces of hate against you.
You get one hate piece.
Yeah, and
you build a board. You get another hate piece. You build a board.
You play Deafening Silence. You buy yourself a turn or two. You play against High Tide. You got Calamity's Wake in your hand. Like, you can play a Guide of Souls turn 1. You can play an Amped Raptor turn 2. Now they got to do something.
It is very much a strong deck. I think it is a good deck. I think I would never be surprised to see it in a top 8.
Yeah.
But I think people like panicked after that one game when they saw how well it did. And I think there were a lot of very strong statements about how wow, how is this not like just unbeatable? This feels amazing. This is modern energy, and like, yeah, you get Luris, you get a lot of good cards.
It's better than modern energy because they don't get Brotherhood Scribe. That's a card that is a kill onside card.
Missing out on Flage is a big thing.
I would rather,
in my opinion.
I understand what you're saying. I would rather have Brotherhood Scribe than Flage.
And you get Luris as well.
Yeah, Luris, Brotherhood Scribe, great cards. The deck is good, but I do think similar to a lot of the Rhinos overreactions that we've had in the past. Well, sorry, a lot of the Rhinos reactions that we've had in the past. I believe they are overreactions. I always thought Rhinos was a strong deck. I still do think it is a strong deck, but there were a lot of times where people were saying this deck is not beatable. Like, how? Like, do we need to? People, literally seen people say, "Are we banning Spirit Guides? Are we banning Crashing Footfalls?" And it's just like, no. Like, just play a Spell Pierce, play Test of Talents.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. Like, I think we've seen a lot of cycles of really dominant decks. I felt multiple times like, oh man, this is the end of the road. Like, the format has found this deck. Like, everybody pack it up, go home. We're not solving this. And looking back at it now, I laugh because I mean, obviously the format's grown a lot. There's a lot more eyes on it, but there were decent numbers of eyes on it. During all these times, there was a time where black, Hymn to Turok, Dark Ritual decks felt oppressive.
Yep.
I got beat by Starscream so many times.
Yeah, the Order of the Ebon Legion or whatever it is.
Night of the Ebon Legion. Yeah, I absolutely remember those days, and they were a lot of fun.
And then after that was like when we started seeing White Plumes and other initiative cards, and it felt like, oh my god, we're never getting past initiative. This is what the format is. That was. But then we started seeing people pack Spectral Sailors in their sideboard.
Yeah. To combat it, that's I think the biggest strength of this format is that you see fun swerves like that. You see people adjusting. What other format are you going to see a Spectral Sailor in the sideboard just because you need to at least acknowledge the initiative as a mechanic?
That's a good point, yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not... I would not say I'm an initiative enjoyer, but I do like that it makes that relevant. But yeah, and I think part of it, like, there's just always ways to cycle through, and I think there's always a new angle to beat the best deck, and I think another thing that's great about this format is, like, you don't have to be married to the deck you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm saying Sailor's Bane is having a rough time right now, and I'm losing to big mana decks, brother, it cost me $30 to go get a big mana deck.
Yep.
I don't have to be the Sailor's Bane guy. I can stop whining and go play Boros Energy.
Yep. And especially once you get a lot of those core cards, like, there is a lot of overlap in, I mean, playset of Inquisitions goes in a ton of decks. Swords to Plowshares, Counterspells, Lose Focuses, they go in a lot of different decks. And that saves you some of the money that if you're trying to build something new.
I remember a while ago I was like ordering a couple different decks to get ready for like SCG season, and I put my cart together, and then I got my mail, and suddenly I had 3 playsets of Inquisition of Kozilek on my deck. and I was like...
Yeah, I bought doubles of Inquisitions and Spell Pierces and Considers and some other stuff like that, just because he's... Yeah.
I think I bought 5 or 6 playsets of foil Lose Focuses at once, and I've just kind of split them into decks since then.
Speculation. But yeah, I feel like there's always ways to get around stuff. I do think Boros is pretty well positioned, but we have not seen a lot of it.
I would love to see that deck make a comeback. It's a really, really cool deck. It's a very fun deck to watch go.
Yeah, it just goes and goes and goes.
It just sometimes goes.
So circling back, taking the winding path to the question, I think realistically, if I had to like win a 1K to save Earth, that kind of situation, gun to my head, Space Jam situation, I would probably just play the comfort deck of Sailor's Bane. I think it's fine. I could probably top 8 with that. I'd probably be more likely than Martyr or Hogak, but I think I'm probably locking in one of those for the next big event.
Nice.
We'll see. What have you guys been wanting to try out? Doug, you've been talking about a certain space puppy.
Oh, Comet, yeah. Comet has the disadvantage in that it's like neither of its colors are blue.
Yeah.
That's hard for me to get over.
Yeah.
Because Comet asks you to protect it a little bit. And that dog sometimes just like shoots for 5, shoots for 3, and dies.
Yeah, your dog is a
So
shotgun.
you can't do the thing where you run 1 comet or 2 comets. You really got to have 3 of those things. You got to have enough cards in your graveyard that are 2 mana or less, so that when Comet digs up a bone, you can pick up a loose focus or a Swords to Plowshares or an engineered explosives.
Yeah.
I like Comet a lot. I think I like Comet more than Minsk and Boo at the moment, although Minsk and Boo is more reliable. But Comet, I mean, you can. It's you don't have to run such bad colors. And when I say bad colors, I'll try to explain what I mean. When I look at white, obviously you're buying Comet already, but you get Prismatic Ending, you get Swords to Plowshares. Depending on the day, you get Dovin's Veto. You get some very good sideboard cards you're bringing in. You get Sanctifier and Vec if you want it. You get Stony Silence. You get Rest in Peace. You get lots of really good stuff.
Yeah.
You compare that to green.
Scavenging ooze.
Green, you get I don't.
Outland Liberator.
Yeah. I'm a big compost enjoyer. If I need to play compost, compost will put the nail in. If you think I'm facing Inquisition decks, try and resolve a compost. It's fantastic, folks. It's amazing. But other than that, the drop off on green cards is really quick, and the drop off on red cards is almost it's a cliff.
Yeah.
You get Pyroclasm. I don't think you want to be Pyroclasming in a deck.
Anger of the Gods is still a really good strong card.
Yeah, that's still good, but it's hard for me. I'm a Dwarven Mire kind of guy on the sideboard. You get Ruination if you want to do that, right?
Boil.
But yeah, you get
Didn't you boil me at a 1K once?
Yeah, I boiled you on High Tide mid combo and lost that game.
So when I look at Minsk and Boo is asking you to play 2 colors where you're not thrilled about what else you're playing. You could potentially play Minsk and Boo in a teamer deck where you're playing Oko. That's justifiable. If you can make it work, DM me a list. Probably going to be bad, just like all mine. Comet, you can at least be like, all right, I'm playing a blue-white deck that runs red.
Splashes.
Maybe I run Lightning Bolt in it, and Comet can pick up a Lightning Bolt now and then. That's cool, right? But other than that, I don't get a whole lot out of Minsk and Boo in a deck that I like to play now. I like to play decks that play counter spells, that play Swords to Plowshares. I think those are the kind of decks that Comet is good in. I don't think you're spirit guiding out a Comet on turn 2 and really thrilled with your life.
The Swords to Plowshares counterspell decks, the best thing you can find for that is a concise way to turn the corner. Mm-hmm. And I think Comet does a great job of that.
And sometimes Comet, you play it and you get 2 squirrels, and you play it and shoot somebody for 7. And like things are getting real, somebody's pulled out a gun at the party. And you're like, all right, what do we do next turn? If you roll a 6 on that thing ever, it's pretty wild.
It is
but
crazy.
Sometimes you're just like, all right, I'm facing down that threat. I tapped out for Comet. I rolled a 3. I picked up a Swords. You've attacked and killed my Comet. I Swords your guy. What did we do here?
That's the thing. I really don't like inviting that potential for evil into my gameplay, right? Like, I want my cards to do what I want them to do. I've played Hearthstone. I've moved on.
You don't want to Yogg Saron 12 random spells?
Oh, I've been there, man. I've been through it. So, Doug, you clearly have some strong opinions. Now, my question is, do you think blue is the best color in the format, or is it just your preferred color? Or am I even on base? Is blue your preferred color?
I think blue's my preferred.
Is it the best color in this format? And I think the answer is no.
I don't think blue's the best color in the format, but I think if you're playing a 2-color deck, one of the colors being blue puts you at a marked advantage. Because you get really good, cheap cards that happen to be blue. You're playing a green deck, Ice Fang Coatl with blue. Welcome aboard. You're playing a red deck, you get Ponder. You get Expressive Iteration. That's a banger of a card you'll be seeing me casting on Saturday.
That's a good card.
So there's just like, there's the blue. There's not great blue threats, right? I know I've talked about a lot about blue cards I like, but like there's not a Grist. There's not a Blue Plume Adventurer. No.
What is it? Brineborn Cutthroat. I experimented with that card a lot.
That card's sick.
Maybe Astrologian's Planisphere is the threat that I'm forgetting on this whole thing, but I feel comfortable with blue. I play a lot of decks where like you're on the ropes and you cast Ponder and you shuffle and you draw balance.
I hate Ponder.
And you take the game over. So the fact that you have a variety of blue cantrips, you have Spell Pierce. I like blue. I don't think blue's the best color. I think green and red are probably the worst, while still being fine colors.
Yeah.
I think it's white and black. Both have that. They both have those other people sitting next to LeBron.
Yeah.
You have Inquisition of Kozilek. You've got Hymn to Torak after that. You've got all those goofy 4-drop initiative Ravenloft Adventure cards. You've got Graveyard Trespasser, which people somehow don't cast these days.
Yeah.
Is that card still cheap?
It's cheap enough.
It is pretty cheap.
I feel like
that's Black Plume Adventure right there, man. That's an amazing card to read.
Slides in and out of my junk list every now and then.
Yeah.
I feel like modern players are starting to wake up to it a little bit more slowly.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I do think white is the best color in the format.
We've seen white-black initiative decks.
Yeah.
I think those are good.
Yeah, they turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Tideholder Sculler, turn 3, Graveyard Trespasser, White Plume.
Yep.
I'll say I hate Ravenloft Adventure. That card sucks so bad, dude.
Compared to the Passage, I'm going to say Passageway Seer.
I hate that card too. I look at it next to Seasoned Dungeoneer and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, but you look at Passageway Seer and then like you see what it says, and then when you play it and you see what it actually does, and it's like a 5/5 lifelinker when you blink.
Yeah. I have not lost to one of those. I have not seen a black initiative creature cast in a long time.
Yeah, same.
Because Dark Ritual is kind of pricey these days.
Dark Ritual is almost prohibitively expensive right now.
Oh, that reminds me. I thought of a question that's not on our board over there. What are the goofiest cards you guys have gotten crushed by in this format?
So many. And I love it.
Both of you need to say Granger Guildmage and give me my honors.
Yeah. The Granger Guildmage.
I don't know if I've ever
Fang.
lost to a Granger Guildmage before.
You've come to a
It was an Ice Fang Kowaddle.
Yeah, the Kowaddles,
that killed me, that one. But yeah, Granger Guildmage is absolutely up there.
Goofiest cards. I'll have to think about that for a while.
Sage of the Maze.
Oh, I have not had to face down that card.
I had to begrudgingly respect the gates.
Yeah,
Begrudgingly.
That card ends games very, very fast.
Crackling Perimeter for that regard too. Draft chaff cards like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some real weird ones that I am not remembering right now, but yeah.
I think Starscream's got to be it for me.
Starscream's probably up there for sure.
That card snaps my little baby brain in half. So confusing. Like, you can read it, because it's got 2 halves, right? Front and back. Mm-hmm. And you think you understand what's happening, and then you're in a game, and you have to, like, figure out what you're doing. That's a brain bender.
You're like, you've given me the monarch. Clearly, I'm going to be winning this one.
Yeah, this has to be good for me.
Magic the Gathering card Kitchen. I have lost that card, and that card is goofy as hell.
Yeah, word up to Mitchell on that one.
Yeah, I feel my soul leave my body when they untap the kitchen.
And Mitchell is a sailor of Scryfall. That guy does everything that can be cast at instant speed.
Shout out to Mitchell. He pushed through a lot of kitchen hate to get that on the table.
Yeah, and I think it is objectively correct.
I agree, yeah.
Man, goofy.
Oh, the shout out to some of our friends on the Discord who play Magic Online. I'm not even going to dignify it with remembering what it is, but it's a card that's like black X, cast in your opponent's attack step, reanimate some guys, they die at the end of the attack.
Wake the dead?
Wake the dead.
Who did that to you?
I think everybody's budding engineering prodigy at Cornell did it to me.
Wow.
And you're like, okay,
cool. Right, it was that the pretend flash list.
Yeah. And then it's basically what they do is they get gruff triplets out in the graveyard, and then they wake the dead on those things. And it's hard to deal with. I'll tell you that. It's hard to deal with that.
That's definitely interesting.
Man, I miss Mono Blue Flash. That deck was fun.
Couldn't stand that thing, man.
Really?
They always have it. Yeah, they always have it.
Yeah,
they always have the Mystic Sanctuary.
That
deck, flood of recollection to get the flashback.
That deck, to me, was annoying to play against, and I respected it. But my God, do I really hate structurally decks that need a singular restricted 1 card to win the game.
I feel like that deck taught me some lessons, because when I started playing it, I was trying to really do the reactive control thing, But then as I played it more, I realized that tapping out for a solve the equation on turn 3 actually kind of okay if your next turn is flash counterspell.
Yeah.
It really turned on like an unga bunga blue part of my brain, and I felt like I learned a good lesson from it.
Yep. Can I put Hidetsugu and Kairi on the list of goofy cards that kill people?
I think you've killed me with that probably.
I don't think it's good, but it is goofy.
It is sick. Does Brotherhood Scribe goofy, or is that card just too good?
I think a card's just good.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Boom Bust has transcended the goofiness to just be a good card and a good plan.
It's crazy, yeah, because that Naya Boom list, I was kind of a hater at first, and it all kind of came from Joe playing his Chandra Tribal deck, which I was also a hater of that deck for a little bit, but it did well.
Yeah.
And the thing that really bugs me about that is Chandra Torch,
Yep.
is more expensive than Minsc and Boo these days.
Yeah, that's crazy to say.
I asked Joe if he would ever go back to Chandras and Naya, and he said they were too expensive.
End of an era.
Yeah.
I've died to a Heart of Kirin before.
Same.
Feels
Yeah.
like shit. Yeah. Holy.
See, I've lost to a game to an Arborea.
Oh yeah, there was the Arborea phase for a while.
Yeah.
Spencer's Turbo Fog deck.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, definitely lost to that.
Imagine a green post deck that pivots into Arborea and Trench Post.
Heinous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a conundrum I'm dealing with. Are we at the end of our list here?
I think we have one more question that I think is actually good.
Yeah, let's fire away with that.
I put this one on the list right before we started, and I'm not going to define what I mean by this, so answer however you interpret it. What decks do you think are sleeping dragons? I will not elaborate.
I think Heidel's Restored Balance deck is a very good deck.
Yeah.
I think it has its weaknesses like every deck. But I think that deck, its plan is play border post, have 1 to 0 lands in play, restore balance, and then slam down a planeswalker. Being able to have 5 balances in your deck is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Gotta tell you.
Well, I mean, even then, it's cascade into them, so you're getting 9 copies of balance in your deck.
Yeah, and you're doing it where you cast Shardless Agent, the Cascade resolves first, so you balance, and now you have a silly 2/2 on the board too. So I don't think that's ever going to put away a game by itself. There's Greater Gargadon. So
Greater
you
Gargadon,
can, you can do a lot of fun stuff with that, where you just 9/7 somebody, you balance and you 9/7, and that's that. So I think. If somebody were coming into this format and they wanted a deck that had a lot of options to it, that felt very powerful and felt very different than what they were doing in other formats, that Restore Balance deck with the border post feels so different. You get to play cards you don't get to play in other formats. You get to play kill conditions that you don't get to play elsewhere. It evokes interesting lines and interesting thoughts. Like, I should play Mystical Dispute. I could potentially play Ricochet Trap, but you have to play in this Cascade restriction, while also playing a deck whose Cascade brokenness is so fair, right? It's not putting out 2 Rhinos. It's not casting Channel.
You're not accelerating into it.
That's right. It's not making a living end. All it is saying we're going to play. We're going to live off the top of our decks here. By the way, I've got like a Gideon.
Well, I think it's so weird and uncommon to see really busted things that are like reactive, right? Like, it's really easy to find strong proactive strategies, but there's not that many cards that are like really messed up in a reactive way, the way that balancing someone is.
And I think that deck too, what I think is interesting about it is that fundamental line of like border post, Shardless Agent, it can fight High Tide.
Yeah.
The fact that it can Violent Outburst. The opponent has 4 islands out in there, and you're in the end step, and they go for a Cunning Wish, and just boil away the lands. Gone. I think that is what I like about it too is that it is a deck that can contain a combo deck without relying on the typical things we grab, which is black discard, white Dahlia taxing effects, and blue counter spells. by the ability to just zip up everything. You cast Living End, we will Living Death now. We'll put them away. I know that's a different card. Don't mention that to me. So I think that's my Sleeping Dragon pick.
I agree with all of that. I think that deck is really, really cool, really underexplored.
Yeah.
Man, instant speed balance is crazy.
That's messed up.
And your draw step balance
It is so good. I think my answer is Green White Initiative. I think that deck had was a really big focal point of the format for a while, and I don't think it is any worse than it has ever been. I don't think it is any worse than it was in the past. I think that is still an absurdly strong deck. I think it is extremely flexible. I think it's extremely consistent. I am very shocked by how little it's getting played these days.
Does the budget still work? Because White Plumes are up to like $1.80.
You don't really get Seasoned Dungeoneer anymore, but I don't think you need it.
You can just Undermountain. And honestly, a lot of the time, the turn to Elite Spellbinders were kind of the worst part, right?
I will tell you, Everett had reported glowingly about Gaddock Teague in that deck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is affordable. It's a 61-cent card right now, last time I looked at it. So he said he was running a couple, and he said that they really were instrumental in doing things like beating High Tide and beating a combo deck. If it's like, well, we're no X spells, nothing over 3 mana, the Kithkin Advisor is going to shut things down.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily think Palace Jailer is a very good card right now. I don't think it's in a great place. But
do you think there's not enough?
You get some interesting stuff you can put in instead.
Is there not enough like board state to board state interaction? Like, do you not have to outsludge people?
I think so, because I think that we're not running into a lot of initiative decks presently.
Yeah.
And if you were playing green-red initiative versus green-white initiative, and the green-white initiative player had a Palace Jailer, that would turn the tide of a lot.
Yeah. I also think it just matches up poorly to something like, okay, to like red-white initiative or red-white Luris. Okay, I'm gonna Palace Jailer one of your creatures, and then they're gonna say, oh, okay, I'm gonna Static Prison one of your guys, and then attack and take the initiative back, or take Monarchy back.
Yep.
It is a 4-mana card, and it is a strong card. But I do think that is one of the biggest losers of the format, kind of, not necessarily getting more powerful, but it is streamlining a lot to what it has been in the past.
Yeah.
Yep, your opponent has an Amped Raptor out and a Nurturing Pixie, and you're resolving Palace Jailer. You have to take the Pixie, and then you don't feel great about chump blocking an Amped Raptor next turn.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
That's a good segue, because I think, you might know it from the earlier conversations, I think I would put red-white energy as my kind of sleeping dragon, because I feel like it totally fell off the radar after that 1K. And I think it's still here in the background, waiting in a cave, ready to gobble up some villagers.
I am surprised at how little it's gotten played recently. Yeah.
One honorable mention I'll give. I guess 2 honorable mentions. I'll say Affinity, and that's all I'll say about it. Blue Affinity.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the reason why I bring that up is that Mono Blue Spirits, I played at the Indianapolis 1K. I did pretty okay with it. I had forgotten how good it is to play with just 18 matching basic lands and never worry about hitting colors at all. Just be like, I hit my 3rd land drop, I'm done. I'm good for the game. It is. We have very few monocolored decks in the format, and I think Blue Spirits is one of the ones. I don't think Blue White Spirits is there, but I think Mono Blue Spirits, on the basis that you have that rock solid mana base, is a sleeping dragon for me.
Burn is my honorable mention.
That's good. Yeah, I've said this before. You guys have heard me say it. When I lose to a burn player, I just kind of say, they wanted it more than me. You can kill me on burn. It's fine.
They saw the line.
Yep.
Well, here's my conundrum to end things out here. My deck this weekend has $3 of budget in it. It's a blue-red Delver deck.
Gataxian Probe.
Gotta run something. That's way too rational. All right. My reasoning is that if I'm running a 1-of,
Are we at mental misstep money?
I'm not at
That's
mental
6.
misstep money, but I'll give you some options here. But if I'm running a 1-of, it's something where if I see it off of a Ponder or Preordain, I'm like, the heavens have opened, and it's amazing. And it's for that matter, I'm not going to hold a Gataxian Probe in that spot.
Right, you want something that does something.
Yeah. So here are some options. All right, I'm already being psycho and running a Blue Elemental Blast main.
Oh, no.
All right, so
main?
one main. I'll report back. One option.
I can't
But I
wait for you to
realized this
discard
morning,
it.
before the coffee hit, is I can upgrade it to a Hydroblast, which means I can use it to buff my Astrologian's Planisphere. That's an option.
Terrible. Next.
One back to basics
Sure.
is an option.
Yeah, that's fine.
One price of progress is an option.
That I'm most interested in more so than the other two, than Blue Elemental Blast or Back to Basics.
I think Pop is going to kill a Cloud Post player more than Back
I
to
think
Basics.
it's the fact that you can,
absolutely
the fact that you
it
could
will.
just drain somebody for 8 or 10 damage off
Yeah.
the top seems so
Oh,
cool.
for sure.
Because no one's going to factor that into their like calculations of
No.
surviving.
Never. I will never play around taking 12 damage off of a 2-mana spell.
Yep.
Have
Ever.
your opponent on the ropes and have them go through 3 cantrips and then they find a pop and just burn you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll lose to that. I will never play around that.
Yep.
Because
And I'll be okay with that.
I think Price of Progress is the card where if I see it off of a Ponder, I just get so excited. I think I would be thrilled to see that. Back to Basics was close for me, but I feel like my test on that one is that like against Blue Post, you have enough islands,
I'll
just
bounce it on
natural
that
raw
eventually.
islands that you eventually get to bounce and get rid of it.
I don't fully believe in Back to Basics right now.
Other option, which is unfortunate because I own a full playset of Urza Saga ones because that's how you have to be a master. Other options, Pyrokinesis. I can run some number of those,
That's
although I
cool.
feel like it just...
Is that cheaper than Fury right now?
No, well yes, it's like $1.50, so
Okay.
I could run that. I could bleed the
Fury
Treasury
went that
dry
way.
and run a Fury. But I don't know that I have enough red spells to sustain it main. I might be Price of Progressing.
Can
I
I,
like
can I
that.
interest you in a Brazen Borrower?
I think that's too rational.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Gotta get weirder.
I like it. I have
Hull
one...
Breacher.
I have the Kiora that makes the 8/8 octopus when you attack with her when you have threshold. I have one of
I
those
like
on the
that.
sideboard. We'll see if it lasts till Saturday.
All right.
But we'll see.
I like that card a lot.
Can you-
She's our season. What is it? Season Pyromancer in Modern. It lets you mulch
yeah.
away 2 cards and then it makes
Yep.
dudes when it dies.
Yep.
She's our season Pyromancer.
Except instead of little dudes, it's an 8/8.
It's an 8/8
It's an 8/8.
octopus.
Can you just have a Corey Steel Cutter? for
I
that?
think it's $5, right?
I don't know.
I do think it is in the $5 range, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I can find out.
My vote is for Pop. Which that reminds me, a similar card that is 2 mana and does a lot of damage, Sirocco, which we've talked about before.
Cannot main deck that bad boy.
No.
You cannot.
This has got to be main deck worthy fun of one of in here.
I'm gonna be so honest. I truly don't remember what room I was in when this happened, but I was playing Sailor's Bane against some aggressive red deck, and at one point they cast a Sirocco, and I discarded 4 blue cards, and then I won the game.
Corys are $5.20 a piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not happening.
And you can still easily fit 2 of them into Phoenix.
you can fit 4 in a deck. Just figure it out from there.
So if you have ideas on what to run in that spot that you think is smarter than Price of Progress, and you
Oh.
see this video before Saturday at 11 a.m.
That'll be tough. We'll see.
I don't even think you would render in that time.
But on that note, we're close to wrapping up. Do you boys have any final thoughts, last words, or burning ideas to get off your chests?
Have you ever considered playing green in Martyr?
For the Frog?
You get Frog for cheaper. You get Malevolent Rumble. You get... I had something else for it. You get Once Upon a Time to help you dig for specific
You
creatures.
get the Kithkin Advisor Gaddock.
You get Gaddock Teague. You get the artifact that exiles artifacts and enchantments that I don't remember for the 1 cost. You obviously can't cast your Forced Foretell or for whatever.
Yeah, the Hussar.
The Hussars, yeah. You can't cast those if you're playing that. But I do think Rumble and I do think Once Upon a Time are very, very tempting cards there.
That's interesting. I would say I am open to considering it. I've also thought a little bit about black. I think Cabal Therapy is probably good.
Yeah.
There's this card. It's a backup card from March of Machines. It's single black for a human with backup, and you can pay a black to sacrifice it or the thing you backed up onto. So it's kind of like it's 1 human that when you buy it back, it lets you sack 2 humans, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. So you can like eat a Thraben Inspector, then sack it, and then buy it back the next turn. So I've kind of thought about that, but kind of to Doug's point, it's really nice to be monocolored. Or
That's true.
monocolored. We have like 3 blue lands.
Counterpoint, green white mana is amazing.
That's true.
Like amazing. Your fast land is 20 cents.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at it tonight. I'll think on it.
Although actually, Seachrome Coast is also like 20 cents. That is something that you should probably look into, by the way.
I might have put them on my last order from Mana Pool. I'll check. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, that's my last thought. I've
That's a
been
good
holding on to
thought.
that one for a while.
My parting thought is that we've got a good season of Magic coming up. We've got some
Yeah.
good Magic Online tournaments. We've got some 1Ks rolling in these next 2 quarters.
Yep.
I felt like we just had a very quiet quarter or 2
Mhm.
of big events. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more stuff come in, especially because we have so many new people joining the
Yes.
Yeah.
and joining, and it makes things so fun when we have lots of good stuff, good events to talk about.
The post-Tolarian Community College era of Value Vintage is really going to be interesting.
It's looking good. There's a lot of SCG 1Ks lined up. SCGs are going to be running side events at events that we're not at, which is huge. The Value Vintage website went up, vvmtg.com. Check it out.
Thank you both for doing that.
Doug did all the hard work. I was just there, man.
Thank you for doing the hard work. And thank you for being there.
Yeah, I think that's all Oh, the one thought I had. I am excited to play the mono blue avatar land with an activated ability, Agna Quara or whatever.
Oh yeah.
The loot house
Yeah,
effect.
that is a really interesting card.
I've got my eye on that. I ordered, I think, 4 of them. I've also had my eye on Abandoned Air Temple. It started at 70 cents, and now it's up to like $1.80. So I think that one's going to run away.
That one, yeah, I think that one needs to be sub 50 cents for me to really want to start including it.
I would have liked 2 in Martyr just to
It would have been lovely.
That would have been
Yeah.
nice. It would have been good for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that one's going to run away. I think we're going to get to play the blue one for a while, which will be fun.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe that thing's 50 cents now.
Right.
It's literally Desolate Lighthouse, but it makes colored mana.
Yep.
Insane. Gentlemen, I think that's all I got. Thanks for joining me. Let's do another one of these. Let us know what you thought in the comments if you made it 90 minutes into this. Probably had a lot of laundry to
A
fold.
lot of laundry to fold, a lot of dishes to wash.
Yeah, that's a busy Sunday. All right, we'll see y'all later.